For years, I have traveled the world slinging my creator-owned comics at the biggest and hottest cons. Now I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how everything comes together and opening the door for you to ask me anything and claim some rare items at special discounted prices. So pull up a seat and enjoy this brand new episode of Virtual Signings with Onrie, the live event show. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Virtual Signings with Onrie, the live event show. I'm your host, Onrie Compan. This is the Onrie Compan Productions insider show. So I have no idea how I'm going to go about doing this in the future, but it is going to be a monthly show, meaning we're only going to air it once a month. This is our first episode, so welcome. And basically, I'm kind of treating this as like an AMA / claim sale where you can actually pick up stuff from my catalog and I'll sign it for you on the air. Today, I'm going to be sharing a bunch of stuff with you guys. First off, if you're watching the show or you tune in at any point today, I'm going to drop a link for a free PDF preview of Warline number 3. This hasn't even been seen by the editor, Chuck Pino, yet. So I spoke with him before we went on the air, just to make sure that he would be okay with me sharing this with you guys. And since it's only the first 12 pages and I feel pretty confident about where we're at with them, he was gracious enough to say, yeah, go ahead. You can share this with everybody. This is just kind of my way of saying thank you for being here and thank you for all your support and all that other good stuff. But another thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to share some artwork with you guys. We finally started moving forward with Yisun Shin, so I'm going to give you guys a little peek behind the production room so you guys can see it, the newest page. We're now officially 4 pages have been colored or in colored progress right now. So that doesn't mean that they're finished. Nothing I'm going to show you today in the previews is finished, but it is in progress. And that's kind of the point of the show too, is to kind of give you guys a sense of, what goes on behind the scenes. And it's also an opportunity for you guys to go out and ask questions as well. So it's not like the typical claim sale where I come on here and I start showing you guys comics. Granted, if you guys aren't interested, there will be opportunities for you to pick up comics. I will give you a rundown of everything at some point, but I'm kind of leaving this open to you guys. So, and we're going to kind of refine this as we go, figure it out as time goes on. I haven't really figured out the best time to do it per se. I haven't really figured everything out to a science yet, but we're here, we're doing it. And so let's see. Oh yeah, there was a couple things I was going to give you guys a preview of, as I mentioned. And one of those things is going to be a big event that we're doing this month, later on this month. So, well, I guess I'll show it to you guys in a little bit. But if you're in the room right now, say hi. Let me know you're here. Let me know how you're doing. All that other wonderful stuff. Let me know so I can see you. Who's in the room? Who is in the room? There we go. I'm just uploading some stuff real quick here. If you are watching right now, let me know you're watching. I'm just about to upload some stuff here to share with you guys. Okay. Cool. And hang on. Let's see. Oh. All right, give me 1 second here. Oops. Sorry, guys. I was working on something before I got on the air here with you. All right. What's up, Phil? How you doing, dude? So it looks like we got a lot more people watching us on Facebook, or not on Facebook, but on YouTube. seems to be where everybody's going. I'm trying to download something real quick, and it's being a pain in the butt for some reason. Come on, you jerk. Come on. There we go. All right. Awesome. Okay, so I guess I'll start out by just kind of walking everybody through everything that I have on for sale right now, just so you guys kind of have an idea, and then we'll kind of open it up to questions. We'll start off with Warline, which is my newest series. It's about an old vigilante and his daughter going after the tyrant that destroyed their lives and now controls their city. And it's a 3-issue miniseries. Each book is double size, so it's double the size of your standard comic. None of my comics have any ads in them. Only my shows do. But anyway, we got a deal going on where if you buy issues 1 and 2 right now, I'm doing it at a special discounted price. Normally the books are $10 a pop. I'm going to do them both right now for just $10. So it's kind of like a buy one, get one free deal. And that's my convention price, but it's not the price on my website. If you, sometimes if I decide to show Warline on the air, I'll offer those same prices. But if you're just buying it on the internet, you're paying cover price. Or you're buying it at a comic shop, it's cover price. You can get them both right now for just $10, and I'll sign them for you right on the air. And then we have Yi Sun-shin, my signature series here. Yi Sun-shin's about a Korean admiral that battled the Japanese in the 1500s. He was outnumbered 10-1, and he beat them 23 times in a row without losing. It's all based on a true story, and we've got a deal going on where if you buy all the first 4 issues of Yi Sun-shin, it is going to go for just $10. Once again, you're saving $1 off the cover price of every single book. You get 4 comics. I'll sign them all for you right now for just $10. Yi Sun-shin's also a trilogy, so there's actually going to be 12 issues. Right now, we're working on issue 11. What I was uploading were actual pages that I just got in from issue 11, which I'll show in a little bit here. They're non-spoiler pages, but it's just kind of giving you guys a sense of what goes on behind the scenes and how I go about, constructing stuff. So this is issue 5 of Yi Sun-shin. We also have issues 6, 7, and 8. If you decide you want to get all 8 issues of Yi Sun-shin, it is $20. You are saving $1 off every single book. And then we have issues 9 and 10 here. Issues 9 and 10 are going to go for just an additional $5. So at $25, you get all 10 issues of Yi Sun-shin. I will sign them all for you right here, right now on the air, which is really cool because you get your books authenticated right here on the air. And then we also have the trades. The trades are really awesome. So this is the trade for Warrior and Defender. That's the first 4 issues. And it's got a forward here by Stanley and over 50 pages of additional content in the back. This is also a 15-year anniversary edition of the book, meaning it has updated files and all kinds of cool stuff that we added to the series. So I think you'll really appreciate that. And then we have Fallen Avenger. This is the graphic novel that collects issues 5 through 8 of Yi Sun-shin. And this one, these 2 as a pair goes for $50. Normally it's $25 a pop plus shipping and all that. If you decide you want to get them together right now on the air, I'm going to take 20% off each book. It's just $20 per book. Get them both for $40 or get one for $20. And I'm happy to help fill out your gap too. So if you don't want to get them both, you can just get one. That's not a problem at all. I will hook you up. The books that we have up here are going to be variants of both Yi Sun-shin and Warline. And I guess I'll just go into it. I'll start off with this one right here. So this is a variant cover of Yi Sun-shin Warrior and Defender 1. The last time we offered this was on our Yi Sun-shin Kickstarter. And what's really cool about this is the artwork on the cover was done by Dexter Wee, who is not only the artist that worked on the interiors for Warline, as well as the covers, but is also going to be coming on to finish the last 2 issues of Yi Sun-shin. And today, I'm going to give you guys a free preview of the first page that he has turned in for me that has been colored already. So you guys get a sense of what the book is going to look like. A general sense. There's still a lot of work to do, but anyway, if you want to pick up this variant, normally I charge $15 for these variants. There's only 100 of these in existence. They're all signed and numbered. Today, I'm going to drop the price down to just $10. So you're saving 30% on the cover price of the book. So it's normally $15. I'm going to do it for just $10 right now. And then I also have Warline 2 variants. Now, these are very, very limited. We're talking like less than 30 copies of each book printed. Most of them have been distributed because they were only offered on the Kickstarter, and I only printed enough to fulfill the Kickstarter and have a few extra copies for myself to, throw on future Kickstarters or to offer up here on shows like this. So what I'm going to show you guys right now is stuff that I have never shown or offered for sale before, and may not for a while. So this is the Warline 2 variant here, that cover that was done by Stan Yak. I really, really love this cover. I mean, the amount of detail that went into this. And Robert Nugent, who's the current colorist on Spawn, he did the colors for this, which is really cool. I really love this. And I'm really happy with the print job on this book, too. It turned out really great. This is going to go for just $15. I was normally charging $20 for it. Like if I was to go to a convention and show this off, it'd be $20 on this. And then we have a Chris Mad variant here. This one's also going to go for $20, or sorry, normally, but I'm going to do it for $15 right now. So both of these variants are going for just $15. And they're both limited to only like 30 copies. So just putting that out there. And then we also have the Kanan White cover. That's going to be our third variant here. So Kanan White did this cover. He's the artist on it. Adriana De Los Santos, who's our colorist on Yisun Shin, she is the colorist who worked on this cover. So this one is also going to go for $15 today. And these are all limited print runs here. So this one had a bit of a larger print run. It was about like 150 copies because I needed to get it ready for Emerald City Comic Con. So I got it out there, and I sold through a bulk of it over there, and then we sold a number of them on the Kickstarter, and I have like a batch left. So if I had a abundance of any cover, it would be this one for the issue 2 variants, as well as the Noir edition that was done by Fabrice Cebulski. Fabrice is going to be providing a cover for Warline 3 for another Noir edition that we're going to do. We're going to premiere that later in March sometime. So this is also a black and white version of Warline. It's also the first black and white book I've ever printed, and I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out. And we're going to do the same thing. We're giving issue 3 the same treatment, and I'm excited to do all that. So this is going to go for $15 as well. This one's limited to only 100 copies, and again, I only have like a set amount because I sold a bunch of these through the Kickstarter and at conventions and everything like that. So trying to clear out a bunch of stuff. So that's why we're offering like these slightly cheaper prices on stuff. I also have foils too of Warline number 1. I only got like 5 of these left. This was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from 2023. And this one is going to go for $20. And then I have a foil of issue 2, which is also going to go for $20. The artwork on both of these covers is done by Dexter Wee. He is the interior artist on the book. And that is what we have for sale here. I also have this really cool Onvu variant of Yisun Shin Warrior and Defender 1. That's also going to go for just $10 for anybody who's interested. And we also have these CGCs up here of Warline 1. The covers are done by what's his face? Frank Guzan. And Frank is a Israeli-based artist, and he provided the artwork, and we only printed up, I think, 70 copies of the colored edition and only 30 copies of the black, white, and red. This is signed by me, him, and the editor, Chuck Pino, and I am offering both of these CGCs today for $80. So we're going to do them both at $80 for anyone who wants to claim them. So this is just up here for you guys. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. The last thing I'm going to tell you about is Marks, A Tale of Neglect. This is the story of my grandfather's life. During World War II, he was a Russian Jewish soldier who fought the Nazis. It's a standalone story. There are no sequels or prequels to it. This is going to go for just $15. And if you pick it up, I will sign it for you as well on the air. And so, yeah, this is basically the last week. I've been really hard at work on editing Warlion 3. I have now looked over 23 different versions of the book. And as of this afternoon, I set it off to Chuck Pino to be edited. So he is now editing the final version of the letters of the book. The book is still in the process of being colored, so we're hoping to get everything done within the next 2 weeks. After that, the books are going to go get printed. We're going to do a micro print run for variants that are going to be premiered at Emerald City Comic Con. Once the files are off to the printer, that is when I'll open up the window for anyone who wants to pre-order the book. We're working on a cover right now for that edition, so it's not going to be the main cover that we usually have for the book, and I'll reveal it as we get closer to that point when we're done with the book. So, and in the meantime, since you're here, and if you're tuning in, I'm going to share a special link with you guys to download a preview of Warlion 3. And here is the link. This is just for anybody who shows up. And I'm going to let you know right now, this is just for folks who are tuning in today. This file is going to be deleted after 24 hours. So if you missed the show today, this is sort of like your one-time opportunity to get a preview of Warlion 3. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's edited, but it's edited by me. It hasn't been edited by Chuck yet. So there might be some changes that are done to the book. Not necessarily the colored files. The colored files are done, but you might change out some words here. You know, Chuck might look at everything that I wrote here and be like, oh my God, this is terrible. We need to fix everything. Doubtful that's going to happen, but this kind of gives you a sense of where we're going with the issue. So if you follow the link that I just placed right here in the comments, you can download a free preview of Warlion 3. I will keep that link live for 24 hours. After that, I'm going to take the file down, and that'll be it. So this is just a really small window of opportunity for you guys to get a free preview of Warlion 3. Another thing I'm going to do right now, speaking of previews, is show you guys something else that I've been working on. This is actually why I was a little late this afternoon, but it was all for a good cause.
This February, justice takes on the form of another. Oi! What the hell is this testicle doing in me favorite Broden spice?
So those of you guys who watch my show, Kicking It with Onrie Live Shopping Show, where I sell all my back issues and collectibles and things like that, I usually do a game once a month where I create a whole scenario around a version of Spawn that I was inspired to create during Spawnuary, which took place last year. So Spawnuary was this contest that Todd McFarlane held where he was trying to get artists to submit their renderings of Spawn. And I was thinking to myself, well, how come he doesn't ask anything from writers? How come writers can't submit their renderings? And then I was just sitting there. I got a real kick out of it. And then I just got this idea about, what makes Spawn stand out. And I thought about it, and I'm like, he's got this big ass boot that he never uses in the comics. Like, he's never booted anyone. And it turned into this thing where now I do bootings every month, where I try and create a scenario where Spawn has to choose who he's going to boot, and you guys who are participating in buying comics on the show, the more money you spend, you guys get to vote on who he's going to boot. So it's a lot of work goes into it, believe it or not. Like, my artwork is totally crap, and I'm totally aware of it. It's intended to be that way, but I try and make it fun. I try and harp on things that are actually bothering me in society and all things like that. So it's a fun thing. So finally, I just decided, you know what? What was the biggest thing that happened in Spawn? It was when he had the crossover with Batman. So I figured, why not do something along those lines? And I'm still trying to kind of come up with a scenario for it, but we'll make it fun. It's going to be a good time. I do promise you guys this. It's going to be a freaking fight. It will be it'll be a showdown unlike anything you've ever seen before. What's up, Leonard? How you doing? Philip Bergusa, how you doing? So this is a different show, guys. This is kind of like an AMA where I talk about what's going on in with my publishing company and things that go on for me as a creator. And since you guys are here, I guess I'll show you. This is also not a 2-hour show either. So this is only going to be an hour-long broadcast. And there is an opportunity for you guys to make claims on all of my self-published stuff, but that's not the primary focus here. The primary focus is to kind of give you guys an idea of what I got going on here. And if you guys do make claims, that would be wonderful because it's been a kind of a slow week with sales. But a lot of you guys have paid up your bills, so that's great too. So I'll be shipping out stuff probably between now and Monday. I'll have everything out so that by Tuesday when we start a new show, we'll be fresh with everything. So I'm going to take this opportunity now to showcase some of the artwork that we have going on in Yixin. So this is a file that was just turned in this morning, and it is the first colored page of Yixin Hunter and Destroyer 3. Now, keep in mind, it is a work in progress, so it's not done yet, but this is Dexter Wee's artwork on the book, and it's very different than what we've done with L. Gehring. So we decided to go in a different direction with the final issues of the book. I really enjoy working with Dexter a lot. He's a phenomenal artist, and I'm really confident in his skills to tell a story and to really make this look as wonderful as possible. And Adriana, her and I have been working on Yixin together since the very beginning. So I'm really pleased with what we see here. Now, a couple of things you guys are going to notice between now and when you see this final page is I'm probably going to make a lot of adjustments to the armor and the dude that you see in the fifth panel, the fifth and sixth panels. So I need to do a little research. So what Adriana usually does is she'll send me 5 or 6 variations of a color page. And then I kind of look between all of them and kind of piece together what I want. And then I make the changes that I want to. So for me right now, I really want to find, I want to find the color accuracy for that character in the fifth panel. I want to make sure that his armor is portrayed correctly and all that stuff, that it's colored right. But overall, this is a pretty nice page. Another thing that's going to be different about the final version is the borders around the page are going to be black because that's what we've already established with Yixin. So every single page has black borders on it. I'm really interested to see how this is going to come together. I mean, it's a slightly different style than what I was used to working on with L, but I think Dexter has really established himself with Warline and doing a really great job. And now that he's done with Warline, I figured this was a great opportunity to bridge him in and get Yixin done. So, and L is actually working on a bunch of cool stuff himself. I actually showed off some of the work that he was doing this week. And a lot of you guys make claims on his books, which is really cool. So I have this Mary Shelley's Frankenstein by Boris Karloff. So he did the artwork. He did all the interiors for this. And he also did the first 3 pages of Hunter and Destroyer 3. I'll actually show you, and again, another work in progress page. It's not done yet. It's nowhere near where I wanted to be, but it's just a preview. So I figured I can show it to you guys. Let me see. Got to present here. Share screen. There we go. So this is another page from Hunter and Destroyer 3. So now we officially have 5 pages illustrated, and actually I think six pages 5 or 6 pages done already and ready to go, which is really cool, because that means we're a quarter of the way through Hunter and Destroyer 3 in terms of the artwork. And Elle did the first 3 pages of this, and then that's when we decided to do a shift and bring Dexter in to finish up the series. And I'm really excited about it. This character that you see here is Chuk Sin. She's a new character that will be debuting in this next issue of Yisun Shin, which I'm hoping will be out later this year. So my goal is ideally to have Hunter and Destroyer 3 come out by New York Comic Con, or at least to launch a Kickstarter campaign around that time and do like a special variant release of it or something like that, which is very possible. Dexter works pretty fast. And I mean, the fact that we're already like a quarter of the way done with the book and it's still February means we have plenty of time to get there. But it is going to be a lot of work between now and when we get this out there. So it's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think with everything that I've done on Yisun Shin, I did it all with David Anthony Kraft. He was my co-writer on the series and my editor. This is the first time I'm working on the book without him again since the first issue. So initially what happened was I wrote Yisun Shin Yisun Shin #1. It wasn't even called Warrior and Defender then. It was just Yisun Shin. And I printed up some copies, and initially I was trying to find a publisher. So I was submitting the book to various publishers and going to like different festivals and conventions and things like that, and just giving the book away. That was my initial thing, because I was just trying to figure out where does this fit in the multiverse of things. And another thing I was doing is I was submitting them to comic book shops. So I picked 5 comic shops throughout the city, and I put books out on their racks and kind of test marketed it. And I found that out of all the success I had from handing it out to submitting it to publishers, the best rate of success I had was going into comic shops and hand selling people the books. That's what eventually led me to go and do this at conventions. So I was just kind of paying attention to what was going on. But when I was submitting to publishers, I was getting a lot of rejections, and I figured that was just kind of par for the course. Now, this was circa 2008, and that was not a good time for comics. Like, if everybody is looking at things now with Diamond's bankruptcy, like, that's also a really bad time. It's really hard for small press publishers. I actually technically got hit by what happened with this whole Diamond thing, because if you guys remember, last year I was nominated for the Heroic Awards, which was a fan-based voting for best comic of the year, best this and that. And I was a finalist in there, and one of the deals that they had worked out, the Heroic Awards worked out a deal with Antarctic Press to put out an edition of all the finalist books, like as a graphic novel, and release it in shops. Well, that's not happening anymore because of what happened with Diamond. Now Antarctic Press has to actually reestablish all of their business because of what's happened. So this has hit everybody pretty significantly. And it sucks, because I don't know if they printed books. I actually haven't heard anything from them. Hopefully at some point I'll hear something, but it stings. It's not fun when things like this happen. But anyway, this was also when I was starting out, it was also a bad time. What was going on at that time was comic sales were just really, really down. A lot of comic shops were operating at a loss at that point. This is before the big boom from the Marvel movies and everything. So a lot of publishers were really skeptical about taking on new books from unknown creators. And so I was kind of hitting this roadblock with publishers, and they were all just giving me initial rejections. Like, I wasn't getting any feedback from what had happened. So eventually I did hear back from someone. It was actually, I believe, Labor Graphics, Dan Votto from Labor Graphics. Now, the first thing he initially told me was, we don't print color books, we only do black and white. However, your book is suffering because of this, this, and this. And I was like, okay, he's giving me feedback. That is great. It's not just a rejection. Sorry, this doesn't fall in line with what we're trying to do, blah, blah, blah. It was, here's some feedback and a rejection, but it's feedback. And it was at that point that I kind of realized, okay, this book needs an editor. It needs somebody that can kind of steer me in the right direction and include the things that are important, because I didn't have any experience writing comics, right? Like I wasn't working for anybody. I wasn't doing any freelance work. Like I was putting all my resources into this series. I had to bootstrap the first, I want to say 7 issues of this book. It was all bootstrapped in the sense that I was, funding out of my own personal checkbook. I had a day job and I was putting money aside and doing all this stuff. And that was how it kind of got going. And once I got the 4th issue done, that's when I started going and doing conventions. And then I was throwing that money, the money that I earned at conventions, into the book so that I can continue production on further issues. I didn't actually do a Kickstarter until Fallen Avenger #4, which was the 8th issue of our series. And that was like 10 years ago, literally 10 years ago. I can't believe that this book is that old already. But anyway, it was important for me because I really wanted to stand out. Like as a comics creator, I think that when you're breaking into this business, and the truth is you're always breaking in, you really want to stand out. And I really want my projects to matter. I'm more interested in my projects mattering to me and to my audience than I am about getting in with Marvel and DC. If that happens, that would be cool. But the trajectory of my career path is taking me on a different direction. It's like I'm not heading in the same course as most other creators. Now I'd like to try and do some of this other stuff. That would be fun. But honestly, I get more of a kick out of working on my own personal projects. I've edited Warline 3 23 times now, but I'm enjoying it every single time because I see the progress in the book. I see it reading better every single time. And I know that after Chuck reads it over, it's going to be even better. And in fact, Chuck's here with us right now. Rumor has it, if I wanted to see Warline 3, I'd have to come here and purchase something. Well, yeah, that would have been the smart thing for me to do, but I just offered the link. I just threw it up there. No one's made any purchases yet. But that would have been a good incentive. That's what we'll do on the next episode, Chuck, which will air March 1st. We'll do that as a final show to kind of get us ready for Emerald City Comic Con, which is when we actually will be premiering Warline 3. So again, today is February 1st. Our next episode will probably be March 1st, very beginning of March. And we'll probably do it as a Saturday show like this. Again, this is not a show for me selling you guys stuff. It's a show for me giving you guys a peek behind the curtain and answering some questions. And maybe we'll even have Chuck on here at some point to talk with us and to hang out and do things like that. But if you guys are interested in picking up anything, and I think a lot of the people who are tuning in right now, no one purchased. Yeah, well, I guess here's the thing, Chuck. I think most of the people who are watching this right now have probably already purchased something from me at some point. So and I didn't really market today as hey, this is a show where we're here to buy stuff. This is more of hey, we're here to just chat and talk about what's going on. And if you guys have any questions, this is actually, I'm opening this up to anybody. If anybody's a creator or whatever, and you have questions about the business, feel free to ask. I'm here to help. I'm an open book. I think it's very important to open the door for other people. In fact, I don't think I would be where I'm at with Yishin Shin if I didn't have mentors that helped me along the way. And initially, it was Mort Castle and Len Strzerzewski, who were two instructors at my college. I graduated from Columbia College in Chicago. There were two instructors that had comic book experience. I didn't take any classes with them when I was in school, but after school, after I'd graduated, about a year afterwards, I had reached out to both of them, and they both agreed to mentor me. And they helped me construct the bones of what is Yishin Shin #1. And I couldn't have got there without them. Len Strzerzewski also helped me come up with some ideas for scenes, and You guys may have been familiar with his work. He created Prime. He worked on a JSA series with Mike Parobeck. He's done a lot of fun stuff. And Mort Castle worked on Leatherface. He's done a lot of stuff with Red Giant Entertainment. You guys have seen a bunch of stuff that I've showcased from both writers. And these were the guys that helped me out initially. And, these guys had no incentive to help me out. Like, time is money and everybody needs to earn. These guys, could have said to me, well, I'm not going to help you unless you take one of my classes, or if you want me to look over your script, it's going to be like this such and such amount of money. No, these guys helped me out, and they really looked over everything, and they really tore me a new ass. They really laid into me when it came to the initial script that I wrote. And it was important that they did that, because initially what I wanted to do with Eastern Shin is I wanted to make it a 60-issue limited series. And I remember sitting with Len at Panera Bread in Chicago, right off of Congress and State Street, and we were out there, and I told him that was my plan. He goes, "When's the first battle in this book going to take place?" I was like, "Issue 6." And he's like, "Are you crazy? This is not going to work." He goes, "You have to go home and read Watchmen." And I was like, "Oh shit, he's going to make me read fucking Watchmen. I don't want to read that fucking shit." And I've tried to read Watchmen multiple times prior to that, and I just couldn't get into it. I like, especially on that 5th issue with the Black Freighter, I was like, oh my God, please fucking kill me now. I did not like any of Watchmen. But he had me go back and he had me read it again, and I forced myself through it this time. I was like, okay, fuck the Black Freighter, I'm just going to get through it. And it was after that I realized, okay, this is actually a really smart, well-written book, and it's not that I necessarily held myself to that standard afterwards, because it's kind of hard to do that. And I think that's something that Chuck and I talked about before we started working on Warline, is if you're chasing that trope of trying to be the next Neil Gaiman, I don't know if you want to be the next Neil Gaiman, but being the next whoever, Garth Ennis, Alan Moore, whatever, you're keeping yourself away from being the best version of you and the one and only you. And I think that was something that I really appreciated about that. That's kind of what sold me on working with Chuck, because when I was working on Warline initially, there was a point where I was like, I'm not fucking doing this book. I can't come up with any ideas. I just kept hitting all these bumps in the road, and I was just so used to having history as a backdrop for kind of telling me the path of what a story should look like. That's what Eastern Shin was. That's what Marx was. Warline is the first project where I had to really come up with everything and really challenge myself to create something new and to do something unique. And I didn't think I could do it at first, but when Chuck and I had our conversation, which was about 3 or 4 months after Dak passed, he was very, I want to say, cathartic about it, because we were sitting down to have a conversation. He said, look, we're just going to talk. And if we can come up with something, great. And if not, well, then fuck it. And it was actually Chuck who came up with some of the cool concepts that we did with Warline, explaining the things that we explained. So at this point, anybody who hasn't read issue 2, without spoiling anything for anyone who hasn't read issue 2, we find out what Warline's power is in issue 2. And Chuck was the one who kind of who offered the explanation for how those powers work. So if you haven't read Warline yet, that's something that you can find in there. But he also helped me shape things up, and he kind of gave me the confidence that I could go back and I could do this. And it was hard. I mean, I was working with Dak on all of this stuff, and then he just died. That was really tough. When he passed away, it was really unexpected, because the funny thing is, if you knew Dak, he was very, very cool dude. He described himself as a bon vivant. He just he was an enjoyer of life, and I've taken on that same, not mantle, what's the word? That same, mantra. And because I think it's important to enjoy life. This is where we find our inspiration. But he also had the intent of living forever. He was like, I'm going to outlive everybody. And when he got COVID, I thought he was going to pull through. I didn't, because I had COVID and my parents had COVID and all these people I knew had COVID and they pulled through just fine. Yet it took him, and that was rough. And it took him brutally. Like he was in the ICU, and even a couple days before he died, he was doing stuff. He was kind of scrambling, I want to say, to try and get a bunch of things together, because he was trying to get himself in a good place to get out of there. And he had this idea of publishing his autobiography in a kind of like more of like a fictional sense. So it's not to include any actual people, like he would just fictionalize everything, but it was his account of what his days were like working at Marvel. So he was working on that. And he was, obviously helping me with Easton Chin. At the point where I realized something was up was we were making a call on the last few pages of Easton Chin that needed to be illustrated. I'll actually show them to you right now. It was these 2 pages. And I had asked him, I said, what do you think of these pages? And he goes, I think you got it. I think you can figure out what needs to be done from here. And it was at that point that I was just like, shit, this isn't good. And the night that he died, I had a feeling something bad was going to happen. Like I had talked to his wife, and she had informed me like what was going on and that it wasn't looking good. And I was like, all right, like I was kind of hoping for a prayer, and it didn't come through. And after that happened, it took me a really long time to kind of work through what I was feeling, to get to the point where I could actually finish it. That's actually kind of why I veered off and really focused on Warlion. And Chuck really helped me, get myself focused on that. So that's why it's taken me a long time to come back to Easton Chin. And now I'm finally in this place where I can do that again. And I'm really happy, because if I didn't refocus on Warline, I don't think I would have had the confidence to come back and do that. And Warline itself has been a huge undertaking, but I have to say I've been very lucky in the sense that I've had a lot of support from the creative team, and everybody's been working so hard on it. I cannot wait for you guys to see issue 3. You guys got the link for the preview. I'll just drop that link here for you guys again, so you guys can check that out and let me know what you think. It's not a fully edited edition of the book, so just keep in mind that there's going to be changes in it. And if there's not, then, well, hey. But even Chuck hasn't looked at it yet. So, and again, I spoke with him before we went on the air to let him know that, hey, this is what we're going to do. And he was totally open to it. And that worked out. So I want to thank Chuck for being cool enough to let us do that. I guess I'm just going to keep this open right now for you guys. If you have any questions or anything you want to mention, be part of the conversation. That's the whole point of this. There's also an opportunity for you guys to make claims on any books that I have for sale here. Once again, I have something very rare that I do not show or showcase on any shows. I have the Chris Mad variant of Warlion 2, which is limited to only 30 copies, and I have maybe about 5 or 10 of them left. This is going to go for just $15 today. It's normally going to sell for $20 at a convention. And then I have the Staniak variant, which is also normally going for $20. I'll do it for $15 right now. You guys can make any claim you want, and I will sign your books for you right here, right now. And I already showed you guys the preview of Spawn versus Bootman. So we're going to do a crossover for the Spawn bootings next month. And if you guys have any questions, this is the time to ask them. I'm here with you guys for the hour. So we got about 11 minutes left. And, I just want to throw it out to you guys. If you have any questions, anything you want me to share information about, this is the time to do it. And if there's other things you want to see on here as time goes on, because, I'm kind of trying to refine this. Again, this is just like the first episode that I've done of this show. But, I'm looking to refine it too. So looking for feedback. You guys can message me later on or let me know what you want to see now, whatever the case is. And next week I'll be on The Experience. We're going to be doing a show on Thursday evening. They'll go live at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to do our Wednesday afternoon show, which will go live at 11 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern. And I think we're going to go back to Fridays because I had better luck on Fridays than I did on Thursday. So we'll do another Friday afternoon show. Oh, Chuck asked a question a little further up. Let's go. Warline has changed a lot since your original outline and thoughts. What are some of your favorite changes? Honestly, the best change that I think occurred with the book was the overseer, and honestly, it was Chuck who came up with the name for the character, and he kind of like just lent it to me because initially, I think I have the image here. I should. It's the Warline one. Hang on. There we go. This was the original rendering of the overseer, and I actually wanted to call this character the scavenger, which wasn't the right name for the character at all. So the overseer wasn't a scavenger, he was a conqueror. And when I was talking to Chuck about it, he actually said, why don't you try this name, the overseer? And his design is so different here. I mean, like, it is so different compared to like what we see in the comic now. Here, let me show you guys a picture of the overseer now. He's just completely different in the comic. That this is him here, and his design totally changed too. Which honestly, what I was gonna do originally was Warline and Scavenger or Overseer were one and the same person. So it's like, Warline was his own worst enemy kind of a thing. But as the story kind of developed in its own way, and it became so much about, it was a story about one man going up against tyranny. Like tyranny trembles before the mettle and might of Warline. It's about a person who is sick of being pushed around, kind of a thing. So the idea of separating these two characters became so important, and legacy, of course. Legacy is like the main thing, but I think with every story, there's always like these sub themes, right? And that is the main theme. Legacy is the theme about it, but even legacy, it's like it's also this thing that kind of controls us, and that is something that will get explored a lot more in Warline 3 and hopefully beyond if we're able to ever get to that point. Yeah, that's a great question, Chuck. I'm so glad you asked it because I had a chance to answer it. Another thing too, I'll share it with you guys, was the design of Warline. So this was the original design of the character. He had more of like a karate gi on and everything. So the original idea of Warline was he was an inspiration from Masoyama, the Kyokushin karate master. And what's up, Lorena? And he, it was always a martial arts book, but the thing is there came a point where I decided to make Warline black. And the reason why I did that was because in my mind, I saw Wesley Snipes playing Warline. And this was before they even thought about bringing him back on Blade for Deadpool and Wolverine. And I was thinking to myself, well, Warline was kind of like this like forgotten hero, So it's like, you look at Blade, he was also, he's also kind of like a forgotten hero. People don't realize that like there would be no MCU if there was no success in Blade. So, that was sort of my inspiration for making him black, was because I really want a black actor to portray him like Wesley Snipes or Michael J. White. And I want them to be older, it's obviously Warline's older. But at this point, I think it was just a very early concept. We didn't really have everything worked out. This image, both of these images were actually rendered by Joel Saavedra, the letterer on Warline. He's also an artist too. He did another really cool book that I forgot the name of it, but we used to. I had it before and I sold it. I got to see if I can get more copies of it. But anyway, going back to Warline's design, we decided to change his outfit once I brought Dexter on because he looked a little too much like the bad guy from The Last Dragon, Shonuff, with the red karate gi, and he had like the dreads and everything. So I kind of wanted to avoid that look for the character. So we ditched the karate gi. We still managed to work the karate gi in there because, as you guys know, martial arts is a pretty important part of my life. I have trained for a long time. I still train in martial arts. I do Krav Maga now, which is less traditional than say Taekwondo, which was sort of my base for everything. But it's still a really important part of who I am and who this character is. I mean, that was his base. Masuyama, he inspired me so much with my journey in comics as well because of just how incredibly powerful he was as a person and what he managed to do. He created this challenge called the 100-man fight where he fought 100 black belts in a row. And that inspired me to create a challenge in comics called the 1500 comic book battle. And I was able to, take 1,500 comics and graphic novels and sell them at conventions. And I've done this multiple times now. And I look at it as a test of my own strength, to be able to go to a convention and pull as much as possible from it. So it's interesting what you can do when you put your mind to something. And your own limit is yourself. And I think that was the biggest lesson that I learned from Masuyama. And I really wanted to incorporate as much of that as I could into Warline, because that is also one of the sub-themes too, is overcoming, your own limitations. That is something that plays a huge role in the overall story. So that was a great question, Chuck. Thank you so much. Next time we're going to have you come on here. And I would like to do a spoiler-filled version episode. Maybe we'll do this next time, where I talk more about some of the things that happened in Warline 2. And I had intended to do that as a Kickstarter reward, but it's just been hard to arrange everything. So and keep things on track, because I think prior to doing that, I think it's more important to get the book done, and then I could do all these kinds of cool spoiler free things. But here's a preview of some stuff of something that we have, an event we have going on in February, for those of you who haven't seen it yet.
This February, justice takes on the form of another. Oi! What the hell is this testicle doing in me favorite Broden spice?
There is a new booting coming. Doing the crossover booting. So we'll have that coming out in February. All right, guys, we have about 2 minutes left. So I just want to let you guys know we got all these books here for sale if anybody's interested. You can also message me after hours about that. And again, just a heads up, if you don't download the preview of Warline 3 right now, we are going to take that preview down within 24 hours. The Overseer card, well, there's only 40 of them. This is 3 of 40. Lorena, I'll do it for $5 if you want to do it. So that way we could say we got something out of this. So some profit out of this show. And I'll tell you what, if you want to throw in the Warline one, I'll do it for another $5. This one is 7 out of 40, and then this one is 3 out of 40. So it'd be 10 for the pair. And those have not been reprinted. Those were actually, I put those out at the end of 2020, and they're also signed too. They're signed and dated. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Some old school stuff that never made it to print. And I wonder too, Chuck opened up an interesting conversation about everything with Warline, in regards to how everything came together, what changes took place and which ones I like the most. And the thing that I find that I'm now thinking about is when we put out a hardcover for Warline, because a lot of people have been asking me, are we going to do a hardcover for it? I don't know. Because right now with everything with printing, I don't even know how I'm going to get Warline 3 printed yet. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like for variants, we do everything domestically, but for offset printing, we do everything overseas. And with changes in our current administration, I don't think I'm going to be printing in China anymore. And I'm also not going to print in China anymore because I'm not really happy with the service that I got the last few times that I printed out there. So in terms of like the shipping, I'd really like for things to be handled a lot more smoothly. And when I say that, I mean like the last 2 orders I got, the first one was so poorly handled that they shipped everything on skids. But then as soon as they came to the US, FedEx, those freaking morons, decided to take every single individual box and ship it individually to me. So I have no idea if I'm missing stuff. I have no idea what the hell happened, but they shipped every single box. And we're talking like probably about 75 to 100 boxes shipped individually. That's poor management on my printer's end. And then with this latest, shipment this is for Marks, for Warline 2 of Yisung #1 reprint and graphic novels. I had like over 7 boxes of stuff that just got completely damaged in transit. I can't have that, so I'm looking for new alternatives right now for printing. So it's hard to say that like, hey, I'm going to put out a Warline hardcover, because of course I can do that, but then I have to charge an obscene amount of money in order to like, get you guys your copies. And I don't know what kind of backup stuff to add necessarily, but this conversation has definitely opened up the the door for that. So we'll probably add some backup content in there for you guys. Oh, you already got a Warline? Okay, cool. I got you on the overseer. What's up, David? David Moore's in the house. This is great. All right. Well, I started a little late, so I'll go on for another 3 or 4 minutes. But again, I think a lot of the people who showed up today probably have a lot of my stuff anyway. But if anybody tunes in later on, like you get my newsletter and you decided to tune in and you want to pick up any of my comics, I will hook you up with those discounted deals as long as you just mention that you picked up stuff from me on the show. And I will be back on the air on Tuesday on The Experience at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. Eastern with new collectible comics. If anybody has anything that they want me to be on the hunt for, I'm going to stop by at North Shore Comics on Tuesday to stock up. Lately, I've noticed that Pete's got a lot of Superman stuff, and I think this is a really great time to be stocking up on Superman just because of the movie and everything. But if there's anything else that you guys are looking for, just message the group, or you can message me here now, and I'll be on the hunt. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is I'm really happy with this. Like Warline, what it's turned into since I launched this book in 2023, compared to where I started out in 2021 when I first had that conversation with Chuck about whether or not this book should even exist. I am just so damn pleased with the fact that we managed to get it out and that it looks so great. My kudos to the entire creative team. This is not something I could do myself. I was actually just talking with Kanan White, who's working on a cover for Warline 3 right now. He's the guy who did this cover right here, and he did another one for issue 1. Him and I were having a conversation, and he told me that he sent in a draft, and then I made some changes to it, and he went in and made those adjustments. And when he sent them in, I was so happy with what he turned in. And he was like, well, you did a really good job of steering me in the right direction. And I said, well, you know what, you did a good job of putting it all together. Without you, there is no book, and none of this works. So, first and foremost, I have to thank the people that believe enough in me that they're willing to work with me and make the best work that we can together. I think that's a really important thing. So, and I'm definitely looking forward to bringing you guys Warline 3. I think you guys are really going to like it, and we got a lot of stuff planned for this series, and Yisun Shin as well. I showed off some artwork from Yisun Shin earlier, from the third issue. So here's one of the pages for it, and it's still a work in progress, but here it is. And yeah, this is fun. I'm glad I came here to talk with you guys. Like, even though we didn't really, it wasn't really a sales show. It's just a different experience. It's a chance for you guys to kind of get a sense of what goes on with the publishing side of stuff, and keep you guys more engaged. And I'm glad that Chuck came on here and asked questions, and you guys are always welcome to come on here and talk shop with me. This is kind of what we're here to do. So, all right, guys, this ends our broadcast. Thank you so much for being here. We will do this again in a month. If you guys have any requests in the meantime for me, like anything you want to see on the show or any feedback, I would appreciate it. I want to make this show the best experience I can for you guys. I will see you all next week. Take care. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Take care.